today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a 5-ingredient, super easy beef nihari recipe. Now in a pan, you want to heat up some oil, and then you want to add in your cleaned and washed beef meat that you have. And then you want to let this cook on both sides for about 5 minutes so the color starts to change and the oil flavor starts to get incorporated. And then once you start give it a stir every now and then. Add in your ginger and garlic paste and then go ahead and cook that on both sides as well. Let that kind of get stirred and get on both sides of the meat. And then you want to let that cook for another few minutes before you start adding in the spices. Now we're going to go ahead and add in a full packet of the Shan spice mix. I use the full packet, but you could use a little bit less depending on your taste, if you like it spicy or not. And then you want to give this a stir. You want to let this cook for about another 5 minutes so that way all of the flavors get incorporated into the meat. And now you want to go ahead and add in some hot water into the meat pan. And I usually put a little bit higher amount of water than the meat level is. And then you want to let that come to a boil and give it a stir so that way nothing sticks to the bottom and then the flavors from the bottom come up. I like to let the meat get tenderized in the oven, so you could set your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and keep it in there for a couple of hours. Now in a pan, what you want to do is add in some atta, and then you want to go ahead and add in some besan, and then you want to give that a good stir and let this cook for a few minutes until it starts to get a little toasty color similar to this. Once it's done, go ahead and turn off the stove and set this aside for it to cool. Once this is cool, add in some water into the batter and then give that a good stir so it becomes a liquid. This is what's going to give the nihari that enhanced flavor. You want to check in the oven to make sure that your meat is getting tenderized, it's getting cooked properly. Give that a little stir, and then you want to put this back on the stove. And then there's going to be oil released at the top. You want to go ahead and take out a little bit of that and put that to a side in a bowl because we're going to be adding that back in. And then once the nihari water is boiling, go ahead and add in that slurry that we made with the besan and the atta and give that a good stir and let this cook for another 30 minutes until it starts to thicken. And then now you're going to go ahead and add in that oil that we set aside and then give that a good stir. And then you're actually ready to serve your nihari. Garnish it with some lemon, with some cilantro, with some green chilies, and serve it with naan or rice. Now enjoy it hot.